From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a Tropical Weather Update.
Fred Gossage here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center on this Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 with the afternoon edition of the Tropical Weather Update, and nothing to really talk about out there in terms of active tropical systems across either the Atlantic Basin or the Eastern Pacific. National Hurricane Center not highlighting any development areas across either basin, and it's looking like things are going to stay quiet here for the next little while. We're not completely done with the hurricane season. I don't see anything, though, in the foreseeable future. Here's a look at pretty much Atlantic Basin wide, and it's pretty quiet out there. We have our frontal system that moved through the past few days ago. That's off the Atlantic coast. There's wind shear in through here associated with the upper level jet stream, so not expecting anything tropical or subtropical in there. We do have a little bit of convection in the northwestern Caribbean that will be moving into the Yucatan. Elsewhere, we're pretty quiet. We'll start focusing in on our Caribbean convection, and there is a little bit of a low level circulation here with this, and thunderstorms developing with it, and there is a bit of upper level outflow. So if this had more time over water, another 24 hours or so, there might be the potential for some development here. However, it's really close to the Yucatan and it's continuing westward. This is going to get buried in land before it ever has any chance to develop. And then as it continues westward, it's going to start running into the upper level jet stream. So not expecting anything out of this. If it had more time over water, if it was a little deeper out into the Western Caribbean, yes, it probably would have some chance of development, but that's just not the case. So not expecting anything there. Elsewhere, the storms that have been into the southwestern Caribbean have kind of gusted out, and now they're moving into Central America. They're running out of time as well, so not expecting any development out of these thunderstorms as well. Now, well, like we talked about yesterday, and then I talked about this a little back last week, is once we get into November, things start settling down. Even though the Atlantic hurricane season goes through the end of the month, if we are going to see something to develop based on history, based on decades of history, this is the area that we watch pretty much from the Western Caribbean up through the Western Atlantic across the Bahamas and such. Most of these systems are moving northeastward to eastward versus what they usually do in the heart of the hurricane season, because the cold fronts in the upper level systems are coming down, and the cold fronts already making it deep into Florida and even the northwestern Caribbean now. The door is pretty much closed for any direct impacts to the mainland United States if we were to hypothetically get something to develop into the Western Caribbean. It would be more likely to move northeastward across the Caribbean islands and out into the open Atlantic. And then sometimes, in some years, you can get some subtropical development out here in the open central Atlantic that recurves. Doesn't look like it's one of those years. So we'll watch the Caribbean over into the Bahamas and the Western Atlantic for systems that would be moving northeast away from the United States, but it's a much lower risk than earlier in the season. Once you get into November, and I don't see anything imminent in the next 7 to 10 days, maybe even 14 days. It looks to be mainly quiet, but we'll watch it carefully. And then when the cold front's coming down, and we have a big one coming early next week, I just don't see any signs to believe that the door is still open for threats to the mainland United States. Now, if we see something in the Caribbean develop and move northeast, yes, places like Puerto Rico would still have to watch, as well as the U.S. Virgin Islands. But for the mainland lower 48 United States, I think the door is pretty much closed for the season, but we watch anything carefully just in case. If we see another system here the next few weeks before the hurricane season ends, the next name on the list is Nestor, but again, this is a big question mark. It's very possible that we go through the month and we don't see anything else develop, and then we just close the season quietly. That is a very real possibility. It's just not a guarantee. But we are nearing the end of the season. We're just not there yet. Activity continues to be possible through the end of November. In some active years, occasionally it even leaks over into December. I don't have any reason to believe it's going to be one of those type of years. It looks like things are starting to settle down. I just can't rule out another system before the end of the month in the Western Caribbean. We'll watch it carefully, but no imminent threats out there, which is certainly good news. Our next regularly scheduled tropical weather update comes tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. a.m. Central Time. You can catch that here with Kelly Rosson right here on the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.